Very good morning to all of you. My name is Shruti Mishra. I am Assistant Professor at Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. This is the class of Performance Appraisal, which is for BCom and BCom LLB fourth semester students. Now let's talk about what exactly performance appraisal means. It is a definition of a news term who says that it is a process of evaluating the performance of the employees, sharing that information with them, and searching for the ways to improve their performance. Basically, the performance appraisal means to evaluate the performance of the employees for the work they have been assigned for, and to understand what exactly they have learned through the period of the time when they were in the organization. And also, when the performance appraisal has been done, it is to share with the employees that what they have done till date, and what are the certain ways to improve their performance. So next, the performance appraisal is a step where the management finds out how effective it has at hiring and placing the employees. So basically, performance appraisal is actually the performance appraisal starts with the hiring process, right? When you hire a right person for the right job, the performance appraisal of the employees will be good. But when you hire a wrong person for the wrong job, it will be like that the performance appraisal will goes down. So it's basically, it is directly related to the hiring and placing the employees. A performance appraisal is a process of evaluating an employee's performance of the job in the terms of its requirement. Next, need for the performance appraisal. So, what are the basic needs for the performance appraisal? The first one is to know the level of the achievement and the behavior of the subordinate, rectify the performance deficiencies, and to set the new standards. So basically, let's discuss about what exactly we need when the performance appraisal has been done. So before that, what are the precautionary steps we need to take care of? So first one, which says that the know the level of the achievement and the behavior of the subordinate. So first of all, for the person whom we are appraising, we need to know the what type of the level the person has. I mean, what type of achievements he can take up with him or herself, and what is the behavior of that person, what are the ways to rectify the performance deficiency and set the new standards of the work, right? Like, what are the performance, where the performance is lacking, where the employees are lacking in their performance, and what type of standards need to be set for the organizational employees. The second point says the select the right people for their effective performance in the right job. As I've said it before, that for the right job there should be a right person, or we can say other way around, vice versa, that is for the right person for a right job. If the right person will be clicked for the right job, or the right person will be hired for the right job, there will be a good performance of the employees. The productivity of the organization will be high, the growth will be high, the sustainability of the organization at the marketplace will also increase. Now, the third point, which says diagnose the deficiency in the employees regarding the skills. Now, you need to know about what are the certain deficiencies of the performance of in the performance of the employees. Like, what are the skills they are lacking, what type of knowledge they are not having, why they are why what are the training requirements they have, and development needs, and to prescribe the means of the employee growth and well-being, and to identify that how we can develop the employees. So these are the basic needs for the performance appraisal. The fourth point says that take a decision regarding the fixation of the salary, promotion, transfers, and demotion on the basis of the performance rank. Now, here we discuss about the basically, when you appraise the employee's performance, then we can identify that how much salary should be given to that employee. Is there any promotional chances there for the employee, or whether we need to transfer it to the another department, or if it is so much necessary, then we are required to demote that employee on the basis of the performance. Now, the fifth one, which says that they provide the information which helps the counseling the subordinate and to prevent the grievances in the disciplinary activities. Now, the fifth point says provide the information which help the counseling the subordinate. Now, this the performance appraisal is basically required for the subordinate to help the subordinate that how he can counsel that another person. If there is any requirement of the grievance is there, if any disciplinary action is required, so it is easy for the subordinate to handle all these activities on the basis of the only performance appraisal. Now, let's discuss about the objectives of the performance appraisal. The first point, which says the counsel of the employees as so as to correct their misconceptions. This might result in the work alienation. Objective, what are the basic objective? To counsel the employees as to correct their misconceptions, they might result in the work alienation. Basically it means that the employee, if the employer having certain type of misconceptions or certain type of concept which is leading to the deficiency, or which is leading to uh, 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 deviate from the actual path, so the performance appraisal is ready for them to provide the right path, to provide the right direction in the organization to deal with the things and to perform their roles and responsibilities. The next one, which says to identify and remove the factors responsible for the work discontentment. Certain factors which obviously try to deviate an employee from their working methodology should also be removed, and this can only be removed, these factors can only be removed by the performance appraisal. Once the performance appraisal been done, the factors which are deviating their performance can be eliminated. The third point says to provide the individuals with an improved understanding of their job responsibility and obligation. It is for the individuals, it is for the employees to understand that what type of job responsibilities they are having, and what type of obligations they have, and what type of obligations they need to perform but they didn't perform previously. So these are the certain things which can be cleared with the performance appraisal. So basically you can say the performance appraisal is a result card, is a report card, or like the students have in their schools, right? So it's like a performance appraisal is a report card to understand what are the mistakes we have done, what are the good things, what are the good deeds we have done in the organization, and what are the certain things which are required from us but we have didn't do that. So there are the certain type of factors which affect the performance appraisal in this way. Next point says to assess the employees training and development needs. Obviously when you gone through with the performance appraisal, when you are done with your employees performance appraisal, you came to know that what type of training and development needs, what are the training requirements the employees are having. If they are not having certain type of requirements of training, you are not supposed to provide them. But if they are required to have a certain type of training, you have to provide that which type of training for the employees they are lacking in, and then you need to provide those training to the employees. Next point says to evaluate the employees performance so as to understand the strength and weakness of the employees. It's basically like you can say it's a SWOT analysis. You need to understand that what are the strength, what are the weaknesses they are having, what type of strength they are having, so the organization can concentrate on them. If the what are type of weaknesses they are having, so the organization are able to, organization is able to eliminate those problems and then we can do the opportunity and threats. We can discuss about the what are the threats of the employee will be having, what type of things he need to take care or she need to take care of, and the what type of opportunities will be in the future for the employee in the organization. Now let's talk process of the performance appraisal. This is the process. You can see that the first point is setting the performance standard. For the performance appraisal process, first you need to setting up the performance standard. Like yes, ABC. There are three standards. First, you have started with C for the new employees, right? So you have set the standard C, that this will be the basic standard for the employees, for the new employees, and they need to perform at least at particular C level, this level, right? Next one is to communicating the standards. The subordinate's responsibility is to communicate those standards to the employees. Like as I've told you in the example that if the new employees has been hired, so the and basically the subordinate has set, or the organization top management has set the performance standard of level of C. So level C is maintained for the new employees, so they need to perform at C level. So this particular information need to communicate to the employees as well. Next is measuring the standards. Now next is one is you need to measure out the standards as well of the employees, so you can able to justify that what type of performance they are having, what type of problems they are facing in the organization. There are a certain type of factors will also pop up once you will understand that what type of performance they are having in the measuring segment. Next one is comparing the standards. Now you need to see that what type of performance they have done, and what type of what exactly they need to do, but they haven't done that. So you can understand the basic difference, the basic deviation between the both of the things. Next one is discussing the results. The subordinate's basic responsibility is to sit with an employee and discuss about his or her result, right? So in that ways, employee can come a subordinate can communicate that what type of deficiencies you have, what type of problems you have done, what good things you have done, and what you need to what an organization is looking for in you. So these all things need to be in discussing the results. And last is taking the corrective standards. Now the subordinate's basic responsibility is, when you are done with the discussing with the results, your basic responsibility is now you need to take the corrective actions for that. Whatever the employees have done, whatever the deficiencies you feel that the employees is having, you need to deal with those things. So what you can do, you can make certain parameters, you can make certain type of guidelines for that particular employee, tailored guidelines you can say for that particular employee, to deal with the this particular thing. So this is all for the today. We'll see that what exactly the next topic will be. So I will be with you with the next topic, and whatever the problem you will be facing, please mention it in the JV interaction segment of for this particular slide. Thank you so much, student. Have a good day.